Hello. Hi. I've been really into booktube recently, and I thought I read. Why not? So here I am. Right now, these are the books that I'm reading. I ordered these two books last week. We'll go in order. I'm going to be reading Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito. Is a collection of horror stories, short stories. I heard it was good. I fell deep into booktube. Throne of Pages is now my new favorite pastime. And she read Fragments of Horror, and she was talking about it so much. I was like, okay, I'm interested. Yes, I'll be reading Fragments of Horror. Then I picked up And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Bachman. Yeah, I got that right. It's a novella, first of all, so it's only like 70-something pages. Side note, why did a 70-something page book have to cost $17? That's besides the point. Anyways, it's about a grandpa who's trying to tell his grandson that he has, well, I'm not sure I think he has dementia, but basically telling him that he's going to lose him before he really actually dies, because he's going to forget things and he's not going to be the same person that he was before the dementia. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be really sad. Like, okay, I could really use an emotional release right now. Let me pick that up. So I picked this one up too. Then I picked up And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. This was a book that I started reading in the middle of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I read 20 pages and I fell asleep because I was on a train to the city and I only got 2 hours of sleep. So that is not at all this book's fault. That was my fault. But really excited about my first Agatha Christie book. I've wanted to read this book since I was in middle school. And then The Odyssey. She's such a little liar. We're not reading The Odyssey. We're not reading it. Maybe at some point we'll get to The Odyssey, but that's not today. If I finish this fast, I'll read another one. I'm one of those people who, like, I see, like, booktubers, like, reading wrap-up, and they read, like, 17 books in a month, or, like, 20, and I'm like, how did you do that? How did you do that? Like, seriously, like, how did you do that? Like, I was like, am I, like, a slow reader? So I went on, like, Google, and I Googled, like, basically it's like a reading test, so it tells you how many words per minute you read, and I got like an average reading speed, which I don't know if that's good or not. We're gonna retake that. But yeah, I'm like, how did you read so much? Like, are you like the Flash, like reading like about like 200 books in a year, 100 books in a year, 250? That's insane. I feel like that's insane. But I also don't listen to audiobooks. I'd rather have the book. I also don't have a Kindle. These are the books that we're going to be reading. I'll see you. This is all over the place, I swear. So I'll see you in the next clip after we read Fragments of Horror. Hello, so I am actually doing this bit after I finished all my books because I didn't have time to like kind of pause and reflect, you know what I mean? But I do keep I used to keep a little journal where I wrote down like ratings and how I felt about it and like overall thoughts about a book. But then I stopped doing it in the journal. I started doing my phone so I could put it in the journal, but then I never ended up doing that, so I have to update it since like it hasn't been updated since last year. So right now I have my thoughts like here. So let's start off. I also want to address that I'm not as lively as I was in the next few clips. I'm not as lively as I was in the original clip, like from the intro and for the next couple books, because I was doing those when nobody was home and it wasn't nighttime. And now it's nighttime and people are home, so I'm trying not to, like, wake people up. So that's why I'm talking so quietly, and it looks like I've been through it. So I read Fragments of Horror by Junji Ito. Can we just look at this? Look at the cover. I don't know if you can see the detail in the reflection of the light. but it's some really nice detailing. Cover without the book jacket. It's really nice. Really nice book. But I thought, it might have been my fault. I had my expectations like too high. I don't know, I thought it would have been like scarier. It was more creepy than scary. Fragments of Horror is written by Junji Ito, and it's a collection of short stories in the horror genre, obviously, Fragments of Horror. And my favorites were The Red Turtleneck, Gentle Goodbye, Dissection Chan, and yeah, those are ones that I really liked. I also liked, but to like a different level, was the Whispering Woman, which is the second to last story in the book. But I just thought it was going to be more scary than it was. The stories were more unsettling than they were horror-esque. I have to say, though, that the one that, like, I found the most interesting was the Red Turtleneck one. But Gentle Goodbye, while it wasn't scary, it was more, it was, like, a little bit sadder, not really horror. But, as I started to pick up on what was going to happen eventually. Like, once one revelation hit, I knew where this was going, and I could tell you how it was going to end, basically. So that's the only thing on that. And why am I having such a hard time saying that word? Dissection Chan was something that I thought was, like, a really interesting premise. And I really enjoyed that one, too, honestly. So those are, like, the top ones, I think, out of my list. And then Gentle Goodbye would be third. So, you know, I was just expecting a little bit more. It was really good overall. I want to pick up another one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to read another one. It's going on the shelf. The only thing that's freaking me out is this eye on the side, on the spine. But also I really like the cover and how it has like little parts of like every story that's in the book. And when you open it up, you get like a little bit more. No? It's just a really nice touch. Plus the reflection on the cover is really nice too. So 3.4 out of 5 stars. Would read another one. And I really want to pick up another one, honestly. And I feel like I should have read this at night. I read it in the middle of the day. Partially my bad. Let's move on. So this is And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer by Frederick Bachman. Frederick Bachman. So basically, the grandpa has, I think it's dementia, it might be Alzheimer's, but he's trying to prepare his grandson for, like, basically losing a grandparent without him actually dying, you know? Because he's gonna forget about him, and it's just another form of loss, basically. Listen, I expected this book to make me sob, to make me cry and let out all these pent-up emotions that I have, and it didn't do that. But listen, based on the premise and everything, I thought I was gonna feel rejuvenated, you know, letting everything out, and it was gonna be nice. It just wasn't. It didn't do that for me. I did enjoy snippets going into Grandpa's past, but I don't like, yes, it was nice. Like, I was sad by the end of it, but I don't know how to explain it. Nothing in the book makes you sad, like, in the middle. I feel like, I don't know. Maybe I'm not the person to be talking about this. The end of the book would have made me cry harder if I was emotionally invested. But I didn't get to that point of being emotionally invested. Honestly, I rounded up to 3 stars on Goodreads, but I gave it a 2.8 out of 5. It didn't do it for me. I was expecting more. Maybe I have to lower my expectations. I have to go into this blind, you know? Like, I don't know. I was expecting so much more. So much more. I'm sadly, like, a little bit disappointed. I was really excited for this book, and it might have been my fault. I don't know. 2.8 out of 5 stars. Maybe on a reread. I'm gonna start annotating my books at some point. I ordered a whole bunch of highlighters and stuff. Like, I knew that when I was reading this, I would have liked to, like, highlight some stuff. It was still really nice. It had really nice quotes in it, and I will have to annotate it because it's nice, but... So we're back. Hi. It's my first video. Please bear with me, but I'm just realizing that I never explained what And Then There Were None was about. So I popped open a summary here because it's been a couple months since I read this book. I still remember what it's about, but I just want to give you a clear picture. So here I am on Google, and it says 10 people, each with something to hide and something to fear, are invited to an isolated mansion on an Indian island by a host who surprisingly fails to appear. On the island, they are cut off from everything but each other and the inescapable shadows of their own past lives. So it's a murder mystery. Obviously, they're going to get picked off one by one, and you're just trying to figure out who it is. So, listen. I liked it. But there's plain out, it's not even foreshadowing. It basically tells you what's going to happen in the book. And that, for me, like, literally, page 28, it tells you what's going to happen. And they keep coming back to it and everything, like, basically saying, oh, this, and that. But, listen, I like a bit of mystery. So knowing what was going to happen, especially in the way things were going to happen, really, like, took me out of it, you know? Like, I found, like, yes, there was a sense of mystery because you didn't know who it was, but at the same time, like, you knew what was going to happen. You were just wondering who was next and who was... I get the whole reason for a mystery is, like, to see who did it, but, like, I also want a mystery. Like, I don't know how and when they're going to die, you know? And it took it away from me. So, -2 points for that. -4 points for that. No. We'll do -2 points. But I really liked the book. I'm not gonna lie to you, but okay. So here's my situation, okay? So we'll start off with mine first. So I do this thing at the beginning of the book where before I even start reading it, I want to know how many pages there are in it. So then I can divide it by half and I can have reading goals, basically. In order to do that, you need how many pages are in the book. And yes, I could look it up. But, like, then having to take out your phone, I get distracted. I go on TikTok and all these things. Like, I don't want to do that. So I flip through, because usually they're at the bottom. But with this one, they're on the top. So I was looking for the last page number. And I do this multiple times while I'm reading the book because I forget. Like, I should put a bookmark there like I usually do. But, like, sometimes it falls out and stuff. So, like, whatever. I forget. So I keep having to go back to it. And I originally thought the last page of the book was 233, but it's not. And then when I went flipping back for it, I found that there was, like, more pages, but then, spoiler, because I saw something I shouldn't have seen on the last page. I usually try to avoid the words on the page on the last one, but it was just sticking out because half of a page was, like, blank, so that meant, like, the end was in the first half, and then I was like, oh, it's blank, and then I looked up, and I just saw something, and I was like, wait, did you do it? You know? So I was like, no, and then I looked at the page number, I noted that down, did my weird-ass math, and I continued. But then, while I was reading, I was, like, side-eyeing this character, because I was like, I think it's you. But, like, I already had those suspicions before. So it was kind of like, you're confirming my suspicions, but at the same time, I also think it's this other guy. Because he's way more suspicious than you're being right now, but, like, still I have my eye on you. Like, you know, that kind of situation. And then okay, listen. So then I thought, as I kept reading this book, like, I was like, no. I was like, I'm literally insane. I must have imagined it because... like, literally, like, no, it can't be you because I think it's this other guy. Like, no way it's you. So I completely wrote that off as, like, me seeing something. Like, oh, I saw part of a letter and that letter was in this guy's name. But isn't that letter also in this other guy's name? Or did that letter turn into something else? And, you know, or, like, did I not see that letter right? You know? So that's what I was thinking. And then I finished the story, read the epilogue, and the epilogue kind of, like, blew my little brain. And then I thought that was the end. And which I was like, I wrote my little journal thing in my phone. And I was like, oh my God, I really love this book because... Can I get into this without spoiling it? Spoiler warning. Anyways, so I thought it was going to be an ominous ending because, spoiler warning, in the epilogue, you have no idea who did it. So I love ominous endings. Listen, I haven't been reading for a couple of years, so, like, I'm really into movies. I'm really into movies and books, but, like, I'm really into movies, and I love an ominous ending, or, like, a twist, or, like, something like that, you know what I mean? So, like, not knowing who did it threw my little brain into a spiral, and I was like, but wait, like, somebody had to have been doing this, because then when the last person died, the chair was not where it was supposed to be. It was pushed up against the wall. Like, who did that? How did they get off the island? How did they do this and that? Like, the people didn't see anybody coming off of the island. Like, how did it happen? Listen, I ate that up, because my rating after reading that with the ominous ending was a 3.7 or a 3.8. And originally, while I was reading the book, it was a 3.4. So that brought it up 0.4 points, 0.4 points, which is, like, a lot. Like, 3 means, like, I really liked the book. I enjoyed it. Wait. It means, like, I liked it. I didn't, like, love it. I'm not gonna gobble it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I liked it, is what it means. So, like, going into the territory of I loved it with a 4... it just wasn't there. But with the 3.8, it's almost there because of the ominous ending, if you know what I mean. So I was like, okay, listen, love this, love that. And then I was like, okay, but, like, seriously, like, I want to see, like, so I went into Google. Because, listen, when you... No, now you're saying, okay, why did you think the book ended when it didn't end? Exactly. It's because, like, listen, I'm one of those people who don't read the about the author section. So, spoilers. So, this is what you get after the epilogue is done. So, the epilogue is here, and then you flip the page, and it's blank. A blank page means to me that you're done. This bold means about the author. The only thing I read is a manuscript document sent to Scotland Yard. Or, I don't even know. I read a manuscript document sent to, and then I thought it was gonna be like, oh, like a publishing company. Oh, it's okay. It's like Agatha Christie. So Agatha Christie's original manuscript that she sent to the publisher, like a little snippet of, like, the beginning, or, like, maybe a note attached saying how she wanted this to go and stuff like that, right? No, you need to read this last part. Like, you need to read it, because then I went into Google and I was like, okay, I want to know everybody's conspiracies. Like, who did this? Like, was it somebody not on the island? Was it some random person who knew everybody and had, like, a connection to everybody? Like, I want to know more about that. Like, so I went into Google and I searched, okay, who was it? Like, and then there were none killer. And they were like, oh, it's like, spoiler. I'm not going to say it. It was this person. And I was like, what do you mean it's this person? Like, spoiler. They're dead. Spoiler. I said spoiler. He died. And, like, the thing that they said matched up with the name that I saw at the end of the book. And I was like, wait a damn minute. You're telling me I'm not crazy? You're telling me, like, I didn't make that up in my head? Like, I know what I saw, and now you're confirming it. But, like, where was this in the book? So then I went back and I found out that I started reading it. And because I read some of it, I read the first, like, sentence. From my earliest youth, I realized that my nature was a mass contradictions, which I thought was, like, about Agatha Christie, because, like, oh, from my earliest youth, she's talking about when she was a kid, how she came into, like, being a writer and everything. No, read it. Literally, the last 14 pages are really important, because it gets into, like, I don't want to say it. Did I just say it? Yeah, he dies. That's all you know. You know it's a he. There's only 2 girls on the island anyway, so, like, it could be anybody. But what I'm telling you right now is that he gets into, like, why he did it, how everything was planned, and stuff like that. And listen, I don't know if it's because I knew in the back of my mind that this man did it, or it was because I was really into this ominous ending. But I was like, I liked the ominous ending before. Like, the epilogue, chef's kiss. Like, if that was gonna be the ominous ending, I would have ate it up. I did eat it up for a whole 10 minutes until I Googled. And then I found out that this man did it. He was, like, really sus at the beginning and, like, throughout. And I was like, you know, you're a little bit weird. So that's what happened with this book. After reading the entire thing, I gave it a 3.2 originally. I think I bumped it up to a 3.3 just because the ominous ending just stuck with you. I was like, dude, it had potential. Honestly, now I would give it a 3.2 after a couple days of marinating, you know? I did like the story. I did like a lot of it, yeah, but the ending didn't hit for me. That might have been my fault, though. So, listen, I said, like, after I finished that book, I would love to read more Agatha Christie books, and I still would love to read them. But, like, the amount of, like, collections of, like a series that she has, and the amount of books in that... I'm one of those people who can't read a series without reading the entire thing. No, but, like the pure... I don't know how to say his name. You know the one I'm talking about, though, right? Like, I was like, oh, those... Because I really wanted to read Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, which are, like, you know, the most well-known, I feel like, stories besides And Then There Were None. And they're a part of a bigger series, and they're not even, like, the first book in the series, so I would have to start from the beginning. I Googled it. I don't know if this is right, but there are about 40 books in that series. I can't commit to that. Like, I know I could, like, leave it and then come back to it, but I'm one of those people who loves to read it, like, all at once, you know? Anyways, so that was And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. Listen.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
My flamingo. No. That's actually so sad. Morning, Mr. Flip. Ah! Be careful with glass shards, kids. Be careful. Anyway, next on the reading vlog is... No! I hate my life. I hate it. Next on the list is the Odyssey. Liar! I don't even want to read the Odyssey right now, though. But I'm gonna do it. Anyway, so yeah. I don't know if this book is supposed to make me cry, but it's just hitting a little too good. It's like, it's also the first book that I've annotated, so it's hitting a little too close. How is this gonna end? I'm kind of scared. Like, I don't want it to end. She does not deserve this, first of all. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna keep reading. I just want to get to page... My post-it note's falling off. I want to get to at least page 347 because I think the last page is 447, so I want to have only 100 pages left. So, like, 6 more pages, and then I'm gonna go to bed. And maybe I'll finish it tomorrow. I've become attached to this book, and I don't want it to end. So now I'm at this point where I want to finish it because I want to know what happens. But at the same time, I don't want to finish it because I'm attached and I don't want it to end. So it's a really weird place to be. I actually have to go. But I'm hoping to come back early and finish this book and see what happens and maybe have a mental breakdown or something. So a little update. I'm back. I had a doctor's appointment. They took my blood and they gave me a shot.
Wait a damn minute.
Oh my god, hi. This is me editing. We're in August. Ignore my hair. I just wanted to say, ignore my hair in that clip. I have no idea what was going on. But, like, pretend that it's non-existent, please. So... hate that. But anyway, I'm on page 419, I think. Yeah, of 447. So do some quick math. That's like what, 27 pages? 28 pages away. No, 38. Hold on, I need a math for a minute. 20. What did I say? 47? 447? So 37 pages away. It took me way too long to get to that conclusion, but this is where we are. My stickers are run through. I have more, thankfully, and our highlighters and our pouch. This is my first time annotating. It's kind of exciting. I had like a mental breakdown the first time I wrote down on the book though. This book has put me through it, I feel like. I also did that thing where you make updates every 100 pages. So for this one, I don't know why I'm telling you. I made, hold on, this is my first one, I think. This is the first 100. My past and present tabs. So basically recapping on what happened in the past, recapping what happened in the present. And yeah, really excited, worried. I'm feeling all of the emotions. I am scared. Like, I'm terrified, but it'll hopefully be fine. So, yeah. So, I just finished The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I want to have a spoiler section and a non-spoiler section just to like gather my thoughts about this. I don't know, because like I love this book. Am I supposed to explain what it's about? It's about this girl who sells her soul to the devil, basically. I mean, that's the synopsis, I guess. Like, she's in a place where she needs to get out of a bind, and she sells her soul. And things go awry, and the soul man, the devil, pulls one over on her, and that's basically it. And that's my synopsis. Let's read the synopsis, why don't we? Because that was not a good explanation. I don't even think I knew what this book was about. I don't even know if I heard anyone talk about it. I think I just saw it at the bookstore and I was like, that looks pretty. That is the worst explanation I've ever done in my life, so I'm going to give you an updated one. It's been months, but I remember everything about this book because I love it and I will love it forever. Anyways, so Addie is this girl Addie is this girl who is in a situation that she wants to get out of, and she prays, and the devil basically answers her prayers and gives her what she wants to an extent, and then basically curses her. So Addie is then forced to live out centuries of her life without ever being remembered. I really did enjoy this book. I was going back and forth on rating it 5 stars though, about certain things, the ending, and kind of like, what would happen like after, just like stuff like that. But then I decided just not to rate this on what's not on the page. So basically what's written is what I'm rating, and honestly what goes after really does impact, I think, the view of the book, but it's not there, it's not written. I'm making up my own thing, and I don't think that's a good way to rate something. But I read this. It took me a while because I annotated it for the first time. Honestly, it was really good. I wished I could have read this faster because honestly, yes, I loved it. And it had me questioning things about myself too, because I was like, rooting for someone I should not be rooting for, like, hello? And, it was good, and I recommend. So now on to the spoiler section, because I have a lot of things to say. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, loved it. Also, questioning myself because of the devil, hello? I knew from the moment they made him look like that that was going to be something that happened, because you do not make a character look like that just for fun. Like, they could have made him look like the devil from The Simpsons, but they didn't. They didn't make him all red with the horns and the tail. They made him look like that. And I was like, okay, noted. And I went through all of the emotions while reading about him. I hated him at the beginning, as I should have. And then as time went on, I was like, wait, why is he kind of, you know? And Henry also loved him. But, you know, as things evolved with Luke, I was like, okay, leave him, go with the devil. Which, honestly, as I moved on, I was like, wait, maybe don't do that. And that wasn't until the final, like, 10 pages. So, love triangle, not love triangle? I mean, I don't know. Not really, but, like, you know, because she didn't feel the same way that I felt. And I understand that now. I really do. Because at the end, like, you know, she goes off with him and he, you know, you learn that she knows everything about him and he knows nothing about her. And I'm like, okay, wait, you're right. It's been 300 years. He could at least learn something if he claims to be in love with you. And honestly, when he says they can have the story, I have you. What is that what he said? Hold on. Give me a minute. Yeah, they can have the story, he says, so long as I have you. I was like, you know what? Hate you. Screw you. What the hell? That was rude. But, like, also the thing that he didn't acknowledge that she could have actually been happy for at least, what, as long as he lives. Like, he could have let her have that, but he didn't. And, like, if you really did love her, I feel like you would want her to be happy. So, hello? But that's kind of how I felt. At one point, I did root for Luke more than I rooted for Henry. And at the time, I don't blame myself for that because, like, Luke, I feel like, did things right. I think at one point she did fall in love with him, and I don't know, it might have been a love out of convenience, but that's also the case with Henry. Not out of convenience, but more of a love because she wanted to be remembered, and that just kind of, I think, impacted her decision and her relationship on, like, with him. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, the end is really what I want to talk about. It was a 5-star for me at the end, and then I started thinking about what would happen after, and that's not really something I want to do because I'm not basing a rating off what would happen after, because that's not written, it's not in the book, it's just me imagining, which I think still should be, like, considered. At the end, it's not over, you know, it still continues, and there's things that need to be wrapped up, and they wrapped it up, like, yes, but there's potential for more, you know? So, like, I was happy with a 5-star rating, and then I started thinking, and then I was like, okay, but, like, spoiler? Maybe? In the end, she's right back where she started. Spoiler. In the end, she's back where she started. Yeah, okay. So, she's now with Luke, and eventually she'll be free again. If, in fact, he lets her go and he's done loving her, basically. And that could be, as she said, decades, centuries from now. And by then, Henry will be older and maybe with his own family, maybe dead if it's centuries from now. And she'll be right back where she started. And she'll be forgotten and not... She'll be forgotten and she won't have anyone to remember her. So it's right back where she started at the beginning. What she's been living through for 300 years, it'll be happening again. And again, I get why she doesn't want to give up her soul. I do understand, but she's tired and she's tired of living. And at some point you have to ask yourself when it's enough to stop suffering, to stop putting yourself through this, and just be at peace and give up your soul. I mean, in her case, it would be to give up her soul and to move on. Well, move on to nothing, but, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the part where I would knock it down a few. And even then, that would be a 4.7 out of 5. But because I'm rating this, end of spoilers. Because I'm rating this based on what's on the page, I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Honestly, it took me for a ride. It's the best book in this entire video. I'm so happy I decided to read this book. I really am. You know that place after you finish like a show and you're just kind of like empty? That's what I'm feeling right now. So I'm gonna go pick up a light read, perhaps a rom-com, because I haven't read a rom-com in like 2 years. But yeah, I'm gonna go pick up a rom-com. I need a palate cleanser. I do. Yeah, 5 out of 5 stars. Really happy with this one. Would recommend. If you haven't read it, go read it. I'm really happy. Hi everyone, thanks for watching my recent reads. I'm filming this actually after my newbie tag, but I'm really happy about the comments and everything, and would like to welcome like new subscribers and everything. I'm super happy about that. Thanks for watching this video, even though it was like a little bit of a mess. It was the first video I filmed. I filmed it back in May. We're in October, actually a few days after Thanksgiving, hoping to get this uploaded before December because anything after that would be unacceptable considering it was filmed in May. But yeah, I have some videos I want to film before the end of the year, and I hope to get that all done and hopefully read some more. As we know, I'm having a little bit of a hard time reading right now, but almost done with Normal People. I said it in, oh, I didn't say it in this video. Actually, I said it in the original outro. We're not putting that in. I'm almost done. I actually want to show you because I have it right here. I meant to read and I didn't. We have this much left. So we're almost done. Happy about this. And then hopefully I'll read more so I can include it in another video. I'm hoping to have a reading wrap up, however disappointing that may be, considering the amount of books I have. But yeah, I just want to share my thoughts on the books I read this year and everything. And if you're interested, I actually do have a travel vlog that I did from over the summer. Oh my god, sorry. From over the summer. I have that. It's edited. If you want to see it, let me know and I'll drop it. It's in the vault. I call it the vault, but I have it done and it's ready if you want to see it. Yeah, so thanks for watching the video. I hope to see you again. If you're new here, please subscribe. Would appreciate it. And thanks so much for watching.